Okay, so before I explain anything in detail, just know this is a very new trick, and we're working on out understanding everything right now. So I will update the description if we find anything else new, or if I make another video explaining more, I'll link that there. But I'll at least explain everything we know so far and how you can at least try to get it yourself. Some people have been having issues doing this like at all, and we don't know why yet. So like I said, if we figure it out, I'll leave it in the description, but I'll explain how I do it for now at least. So the Coveless and Balloonist skip are both like two parts, are done in two parts, and the first part of both are the same. So I'll explain that part first, and then I'll explain how to do the individual tricks. So the first part is this new fairy storage, and the goal of it is to get Spyro away from, like, to start Spyro on a dragon platform and get him somewhere else while still having this dialogue menu up to replay the dragon. So I can explain later why that's important, but what you want to do is, you can do it on any dragon platform, it doesn't matter. I'm just on the Delvin one. You just stand anywhere on the platform. It matters where later, but just for example's sake, it doesn't matter. You need to pull up the dialogue, so you have this, and you want to go to continue. And for me, I hit X, square, triangle, and depending on what controller you are, that'll be different. But I hit those three buttons all at the same time. Some people have said they hit, I think it's X first, and then square and triangle right, like, immediately after. Or maybe it's X and square and then triangle immediately after. You can try different things, but I just hit all three at the same time. I use my thumb on X, and then from my right hand, and then on my left hand I use my pointer finger on square and middle finger on triangle. As long as you can just hit them all at the same time, it doesn't matter, whatever you're comfortable with. But what you want to do is get Spyro to start running and still have this dialog box up. So I'm going to try and do it just like that. You'll see, you can hear Spyro charging. You can see the camera's like shaking a bit because he's running away. And you can see he's like picking up gems. You can hear he's bonking into a wall now. I'm not holding any buttons. He's just running, but this is what you want. So you can see if I continue now, he's all the way over here and he's still going. I just hit square there to cancel it, but he was still charging on his own, and that's important because that's what you want. You need him to be moving without hitting any buttons. But that's all you need to do is just walk up, continue, hit all three, and just get that. Once you can do this consistently, you can do the other. You'll have a much easier time with the other two parts. So just practice that, and then try and do like either Balloonist, Skip, or Coveless, whatever you want to do. Okay, so Balloonist Skip has a lot of moving parts that I'll try my best to explain, but it'll be kind of hard to explain as it's happening. So the first thing you need to do is get the Peacekeepers, and you want to get over to Magnus over here. Definitely kill that cannon guy. He'll shoot at you while you're trying to do this, so you just want to make sure he's out of the way. This is from a file where I just got the Peacekeepers, so this is what you do in a run. You need to free Magnus, and then right after you free Magnus, you need to come over here and talk to this Balloonist. The first time you walk up to him, you see, he'll immediately talk to you and give you those two dialogues, and then he'll just he'll just like kick you out. He won't give you the option to go back to Artisans, so you need to talk to him once to get rid of that. And then when you walk up to him again, it should give you the prompt to talk to him and then let you go to Artisans. That's what you need. So once you have it set up like that, also you need to flame this tent just so it's out of the way. But once you have that right, you need to do the fairy storage that I showed you before, and you need to be standing on this platform so that you're facing the Balloonist, because you're going to be charging in a straight line. You have a little bit of a chance to turn yourself, but not much, so just aiming straight at him makes it easier. So you need to do it. You're going to need to do the fairy storage, and then as you're running to the Balloonist, you're going to wait about a second, and then you're going to replay the dragon, and before the dragon like cutscene starts, you're going to talk to the Balloonist and pull up the option to go to Artisan. So it'll happen pretty quickly, but I'll show you right now. So you see right there, this is what it should look like. You should have the cutscene playing, and you should have Artisans and stay here on screen. That's how you know you did it right. You just need to, like I said, once you're like halfway there, you can't see, so you just need to get a feel for the timing. Once you're like here-ish, you need to replay the dragon, and then that way you'll have enough time to actually hit triangle on the Balloonist and get this menu up before the cutscene starts. So once you can do that consistently, you need to. The goal of this trick, or like the whole reason you're doing this, is because by skipping a cutscene, in this case the Magnus one, the game gives you control of Spyro back. Even though you're on the balloon where you're not supposed to have control, because as soon as you hit Artisans on the balloon, you lose control. But by having this cutscene playing and skipping it, it gives it back when you're not supposed to. So we are trying to have control on the balloon and be able to, if you know there's a little like dev box back here that once you hit it, it'll give you a level select for any homeworld. So once you're on the balloon, once you do what I said, and you get like the dialogue for stay here and Artisans pulled up, and you have the dragon cutscene playing, you need to then skip the cutscene. And once the balloon starts moving up, you're gonna wait like almost a second and then charge off of it. So let me try and do that. So you're gonna get this. This part you can really do as however fast you want. You just need to skip the cutscene, and then like here, you need to charge off, and this will get you into this state where you're just falling. If you hit X, you'll start flapping. This is what you want. At a certain point, you'll start gliding, and that's what you're aiming for. I missed it just so I can explain this better, but that's what you're aiming for. It's like the only thing you can see, so you should be able to tell where you're aiming, but you just need to land in it. The physics and like how you move is very, very weird when you're doing that fall. It's not normal. Like I said, once you hit X, you just kind of flap for a while, and then the game will let you start gliding. And it's like the way like the physics are just not. You'll understand what I mean if you do it yourself, but the physics are not normal. So you're just are gonna have to do it a bunch of times and get used to the movement. But it's important that you wait long enough on the balloon before you charge, otherwise it makes it much harder because you have like a certain amount of time before you can start gliding, and gliding is what makes it a lot easier. So make sure you're not charging on the balloon off the balloon too early, or else it makes it a lot harder. Once you are able to get into that box, the camera will pan and just like face a weird direction. It'll freeze for a second, and then the camera will go back up to the balloon and give you the option to go to any homeworld. You are gonna menu too nasty, but you're not gonna hit it immediately. There's a specific timing for when you need to like go to the next homeworld, or else the game will soft lock or not load the levels correctly. And my visual cue is if you know the game when it's loading the next homeworld, it'll say like entering whatever homeworld and have the gem count. I wait for those to go off screen, and then about half a second later, I hit X. You can like develop your own timing. If you have another visual cue that works better for you, go for it, but that's like the timing I use. So hopefully I'll be able to show you this all in motion. Gonna replay, hit this guy. You're gonna wait, go to Artisans and skip. Once you're riding up on the balloon like here, you're gonna charge. And now you just need to mash X and start flapping until you can hopefully start gliding. Yeah, and then you need to get into the box. The camera pans, it's gonna pull up the level select. Gonna menu to nasty and wait, and then right there, about half a second after, that's when you hit X. And then if it works correctly, you'll see Artisan starts to load them below you, and you won't have control yet. At this point, you want to hold square, because as soon as... Oh, okay. So that's what happens if you do it too early. The game will... You'll just have this. It's very strange. You'll just be zoomed in on Spyro. If this happens, you are just soft locked and you have to restart the game, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so that should have worked. So if that did work, you just need to hold square and... Perfect. Okay, so that worked finally. It took me a couple tries. But if you just hold square while falling off the balloon right there, you'll just immediately start charging automatically towards the water right here. That's how you know you did it right. So if you get that, what you want to do is, I don't know if this is faster for console, but for PC, you want to get Delbin. And the reason for that is because once you death abuse right here, the game will get very confused, and if normally it plays the opening cutscene and puts you back up at the start of Artisans, but by getting Delbin and setting your save point down here, it doesn't do that, which saves like 7-ish seconds. So you want to get Delbin, if you're on PC at least, and then you're gonna die. And then once you respawn, just give it a second, you'll be able to pause. You'll respawn here at Delbin, and you pause the game. It'll say at the bottom there that you're in Nork Nexus, even though you're clearly still in Artisans. But that means you did everything right. So now what you can do is just quit game, continue, and the game will load in Nork Nexus, and it'll be. You'll have Delbin and Magnus here. You'll have all the dragon heads missing, and you can just run straight into Nasty Nork. So that's all. So once you get that part where you're like off the balloon, it's free from there. You've pretty much got it. So. Okay, so for Coveless, the first important thing to note is that you want to be doing this trick, like from when you're practicing, you want to be doing it from Delbin. So if the first time you get to Nork Nexus, Delbin is here, and this pedestal is here until you kill Nasty Nork. Once you kill Nasty Nork and get the credits, the Magnus will appear here. So you can see like I've freed Delbin. You can go into the level, it's just when you kill him, so you can practice this on the same file. But if you see here, I'll replay, it'll say Rescue Delbin, and you'll get the cutscene, there'll be the painter guy. That's the one you want. Because if you do it from Magnus, the camera angles are different, and it'll definitely throw you off. So you definitely want to be practicing this from a file that has Delbin here. So once you make sure you have that, you're going to be doing the fairy storage, and you're going to be getting to that Balloonist. It's the same idea as the Peacekeepers one, except, first of all, you don't want to talk to this Balloonist. The first time you walk up to him, in Nork Nexus, he will talk to you automatically and just give you the level select, so make sure you don't talk to him before you do this. Also, when you are running over to have the fairy storage text up and you're waiting to replay the dragon, you have to wait about a second longer because the Balloonist is farther away. So you're gonna see you need to hit it, if I can get it. Wait like a second or two and then hit it, so you have time to actually get over here. So you're doing the same thing. You want the text up with the stay here and Artisans, and while the dragon cutscene is playing. Also note that he only talks to you the one time, so if you talk to him like that, you need to save and quit for him to do it again. So once you can do that, and you have the timing to when to talk to him, the inputs for getting off the balloon and getting into the level are similar to Balloonist Skip, but they're when you do the things are important. Whereas Balloonist Skip, you could charge off the balloon really any time, or you could skip the cutscene and do stuff any time. It's a lot more precise here. So first thing is you're gonna get over there, you're gonna get the dialogue pulled up and the cutscene playing. My visual cue for when you can skip the cutscene for me is when the camera starts turning, or when you can select Artisans, sorry. You can pick Artisans from the balloon once the camera is halfway-ish through turning back to Delbin, because you need to let the cutscene play out enough that you're able to skip it when you need to. So you can wait longer if that makes you more comfortable. You can do it too early. You can't really. The only way you can do it too late is if you wait 30 seconds for the cutscene to finish. So it's safer to do it later than early. So once you have the timing down for selecting Artisans, you're gonna pick it, like I said, once the cutscene, or once the camera's turned around to start facing Delbin. Then Spyro's gonna start getting in the balloon, and the Delbin's gonna spawn in and start playing his cutscene. You're gonna listen for Spyro hitting the Balloonist's head and landing in the basket, and that's your cue to skip the cutscene. Is once you hear Spyro land and the balloon starts flying off, it's right then. So it's very important that you do that, because you're going to need the right momentum, or you need to skip it at the right time so you get good momentum and you get good direction to get into this. So you'll know if you skipped everything and did all of this up to this point at the right time if you are facing, you're over here in front of the dragon and you're facing the Nork portal, the head. If you are over by the Balloonist, if you're in the middle somewhere around here, if you're facing the wrong direction, then you mistimed something. I wish I could tell you what all the things, if you did this happened, you did this wrong, but we don't know yet. I haven't played around with it enough to tell you all those things. So just know if you're not in the correct position or facing the right angle, you mistimed something. So once you have done all that, you're in the right spot. You're going to need to, once you skip the cutscene, immediately start mashing charge. And what that will do is you'll lose height and gain forward momentum, and it'll push you towards the portal. You'll end up going over here, and then between like the bottom lip of this dragon and like the top of the eyebrows, like somewhere in that range, you need to start hitting glide, and that'll like give you the same flap as Balloonist skip. And then the dragon head will deload, and you'll make it into the portal if you did everything right. So, if you miss the portal, you'll just fall into the void and then eventually load into artisans. If you hit the portal too late, it'll just be a white screen and you'll see like loading artisans and it'll just get stuck there forever. You'll know you get it if you hit the portal and it says loading in the nasties and you get like the purple background and Spyro flying. Otherwise you are soft locked or loading into artisans. So I'm gonna hopefully get it and then okay, so I actually flapped a little early, but it still worked. That was probably like, I probably just barely hit the top of the portal. So you really want to start flapping a little later than that, but it can be kind of hard to time, so. And then this is what it'll look like if you did it right. Now, you're just gonna wait here for it to confront Nasty. And once the level finishes loading, the camera's gonna freak out like this. Loop's gonna happen, but the camera's gonna not have any idea what's happening. It's gonna look like this. This is supposed to happen. This is correct. And then after a second, the camera's gonna go back to Spyro, and you're gonna be in this weird void where Spyro looks really dumb, and there's no level. But when you pause, you'll see you're actually in Nasty North. So if you now quit game and continue, then it will put you in the level. So that's how you know you've done it all correctly.